6.5. You know what I just realized? I don't know if I'm sharing my screen. I don't think I'm sharing my screen. That's insane. Entire screen. There we go. So overall growth summary looks okay for them. 4.7 in the sales, 6.5 EBITDA. Net income 26% 10-year growth is kind of crazy, but pretty good for a supermarket chain, honestly. Other than that, looks okay across the board. I guess we'll go back and look at BHP now because I didn't know I wasn't sharing my screen. But here we go. BHP is in. So, as we could see, long-term growth looks pretty dismal for them. Not really expecting too much here. Honestly, just negatives are mixed across the board. Net income, 5.5% negative over the next 10 years. That's really bad. And again, they are, I believe, where's BHP located? BHP is a Chinese company, so red flag there, first of all. But overall does not look great for them. Also, their next three biggest companies that they operate in are all declining in revenue, which isn't fantastic. Now, to be fair, again, the vast majority is in China, which is improving. So nothing too bad there, but overall could be a little concerning. Going back to Aval, we'll look back at them. And these are companies reporting on Monday, by the way. Again, South American bank based in Colombia, mainly operating in Colombia. For their, let's see, the growth summary. Growth summary, again, is fairly mixed. Actually, like aggressively negative for net income. 15% 10-year expected growth rate is terrible. I don't even know how you would achieve that, but still pretty bad. $2.3 billion bank in Colombia. Going back to Wednesday, I think we saw Ingalls Markets. We will look at that again, though. IMCTA. And their growth summary is actually pretty solid across the board. 26% net income growth over the next 10 years is really good for any company, no matter what. So honestly, especially considering they're based mainly in the kind of southern southeast US, which is very high population growth area. So honestly, they're probably going to perform very well in the future, I'd imagine. Yeah. Next up, Thursday, is Polestar, which is one of the more well-known companies of the week. I don't think most people don't know what BHP is, a materials company from China. But Polestar is they were fairly hyped up a few years ago. I doubt they are anywhere near where their old stock price was, but I believe they're electric vehicles. And yeah, they're nowhere near where they used to be. Honestly, not really expecting too much. And I believe the earnings here are probably wrong, considering it doesn't have the right date. They're holding UK Limited, PSNY. That is what I typed. Yeah. So TradingView doesn't have their earnings on the right day, which is fine, but still. Expecting them to probably do poorly, just considering consensus is them taking a 14-cent loss per share. So probably nothing great there, but we will look up the financials. They should have a fairly positive growth summary, considering they do electric vehicles. And it looks like it's not even estimated yet, but so far the 3-year sales growth at 200% is really good. Hopefully that actually happens for the sake of the company. I can't imagine they've been performing too well, though, based on how their stock price has been doing. But we'll take a quick look into their income statement if it wants to show up for me. Yeah, no, sales have been declining over the past few quarters. They don't even have anything reported for most of 2022, 23. Although again, I think they did just recently. Did they recently go public? Yeah, they did. They went public in 2022, so that is to be expected. But overall, just with their revenue dropping, really not much to say there. I mean, that's 4 consecutive basically quarters of revenue dropping. So not great for that. Going into the next one, Universal Corporation. A lot of people think that this is the movies company. It isn't, unfortunately. It's just another company, which I honestly don't remember what they do, but I will get into that in a second. Their stock price looks terrible considering they haven't gone up from their 2016 price. But again, since then, I mean, they saw these prices in 2016. Actually, sorry, 2007, and have not really moved since then. Technically, their stock is in an uptrend just based on the way it's looking, but being at the same price you were at in 2007 is embarrassing. Um, yeah, UVV. We'll see what this company actually. Oh, it's a tobacco company. Interesting. Funny story about these. The fund that I manage at my college, a kid mixed up this company with the Universal Studios company and did a report on it. And everyone was confused because they were pitching to purchase a tobacco company instead of a movie studios media company. And they had no idea the entire time, and they were reviewing it, and then by the end someone like brought it up as a question. They were like, did you mean to do this one? And they were like, yeah. And it was just a whole big thing. But anyway, getting into the company, growth rates I'd imagine suck, and they do 0.8%. 10-year growth rate is not great. Now, to be fair, they are positive, although net income isn't, but positivity is something. But very, very slow positivity is not really something investors are looking for the most part. Overall, just based on where their stock price is, not great. I'd imagine, let me go back here. Yeah, their dividend yield is 6%. So that kind of explains why their stock price hasn't moved in so long. 79-cent dividend off of, let's see, $46. I mean, that's just going to continuously bring the price down for the most part. So it does make sense. If you factor in dividends into this, I'm sure their stock price would be somewhere up in the 80s or 70s instead of where it's at now. But overall, tobacco company, they're kind of moving out of style, I think, recently with the whole trend of the world, the way the world is going. So can't imagine they have too much success in the future. And then for Friday, we got nothing. Both of these companies don't care about. So I think that's about it. Definitely ones to look out for: BHP, Aval, Polestar should be interesting. I mean, they have a lot of work that needs to be done for them to be an investable company, but I can actually see them possibly making a recovery in the future. But overall, it's going to take a lot. You could see the 5-year average, their EBITDA margin negative 63%, net margin negative 87. I mean, they are losing a ton of money. And it's not looking great for the company. And even if you compare it to something like Neo, where they're just doing much, much better. I think Neo actually has a lot of promise for the future. You could see they actually have some fairly positive estimates here, although their 5-year average still isn't good either. Their net margin is negative 55%, but over the past 5 years. But I think this company shows a lot more promise than Polestar does. But overall, it'll be interesting. So that is all I have, I think, for the earnings report. But yeah, that's all. So I'll see everybody in the next video. I don't know if I'll do a live stream next time. I might not. It is just easier for me to record because then I could go into all these companies and I'm not worried about a time limit or anything and whatever. And although I don't have the chat up, and I'm assuming nobody's watching or chatting, but if I did have the chat up, people could say like, "Oh, check out that company on Monday that's reporting." And I'll be like, "Okay," and I'll click on it and look into it, but for now, I'm just recording through this. So, see everybody next time. Thanks for watching if you did, and I will see everybody next week for the earnings report. End stream.